Hola chicos! Today we're going to go over the verb gustar and other verbs like gustar. Remember, you can refer to page 11 in your text to get more information. A nice little song by Manu Chao, Me Gustas Tu. Okay, let's see here. Verbs like gustar. Remember, you know several verbs that are like gustar, and these verbs need to use the indirect object pronouns me, te, le, nos, os, and les. Okay, let's keep that in mind. So here we have encantar, like I said, the verb gustar, importar, and interesar. Let's make sure that we, hold on one second, just going to move this over. There we go. Let's make sure that we have these copied down because you're going to need those. Okay, so now that you have them copied down, let's continue on. So first, what we need to remember about the four verbs on the previous slide. In order to have a complete sentence, we have to include three parts. The indirect object pronoun, which could be me, te, le, nos, os, or les. The verb, which we could use encantar, gustar, importar, interesar. And then the subject, which will vary. Okay, so we need to have them in that order. Por ejemplo, me gusta el béisbol. We have me, indirect object pronoun. We have gusta, the verb. We have el béisbol, the subject. Okay. Now, thinking of those four verbs, what we usually do with those verbs is really truly just use two forms. And they're going to be the usted and the ustedes forms. And we'll see why that is in one moment. For example, we have me gusta Manu Chao. Okay. Notice again, we have the indirect object pronoun, the verb in Manu Chao. Okay. Manu Chao being the subject. The verb and the subject need to agree in number. So if gusta is gusta, like we see here, it's singular. It's the usted form because in this case it means it is pleasing to me. Well, what is it? Manu Chao, the band. Okay, it is pleasing to me. Whereas in this example, te interesan los deportes, notice now the verb, well, I've changed the verb, but it's just like gustar because it's interesan. That's my other option. That's the ustedes form, meaning are they interesting to you? Well, what is the word they referring to? Right, exactly. Los deportes. Okay, so we're saying, are sports interesting to you? Or another way to phrase that could be, are they interesting to you? Okay, so if deportes is plural, if my subject is plural, therefore my verb needs to be plural. Going back to the previous slide, if my subject is singular, Manu Chao, then my verb form needs to be singular, gusta. Okay, moving along. Again, like I said, remember that in those two sentences, the subjects are Manu Chao and deportes, and that me and te are the indirect object pronouns. Okay, so here we have, I'm going to make this a little bit larger for you to see. Let's see here, maybe that's a little bit better. Here's an activity I'd like for you to do with this in your binder. Take some time. Remember, you can pause this at any time. And what you need to do, you'll see that we have the verb gustar, but other verbs like gustar. And it says to click and drag. You're not going to be able to do that. You need to just write out the full sentences in your binder, okay, and try to figure out which indirect object pronoun do you need to use and which verb would best complete it, okay? So I'm going to swear to end that, and then I'm going to just go on to the next slide for more work to do. Excuse me, let me just move this back, okay? These are some other activities I would like for you to work on. We have the core, okay, on page 4. Big book, pages 11 and 12. The link here, it's not going to work for you, so you can either type in what I have down, excuse me here, I wrote down here, I typed it in. You can type that in, or just wait 1 second, because on the next slide, the next 2 slides, excuse me, will be the actual pages that would have been online. So here's the first one. Okay, let's take a few minutes to work on these. You'll notice that numbers 1 through 15 are here, but 8 is actually on the next slide. So let me just... So again, you can pause this. Okay, you should be able to see all of it right now. And then I'll just go to the last slide. Okay, And now we'll have number 8 here, as well as 16 through 20. Hope you have a better understanding now with the verb gustar and the other 3 verbs that are very much like gustar. Remember, we have the indirect object pronoun, the verb, and the subject. We need our sentences to be in that order. Muy bien, chicos. Nos vemos y buena suerte.